Welcome and hello and hello and welcome. Welcome and hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me on another, just riveting special edition of Un Poco Mas. No, if we're honest for just a minute, there's going to be very few people watching. There's going to be almost no useful information. The bits will be weak. The jokes will be mediocre. The impressions will be so-so. If I gave you some recipes, those would be excellent, but unfortunately, this is not a cooking show. If it was a cooking show, I would have some viewers because people trust a fat chef. They do not trust a fat, chunky stock monkey such as myself. But the head monkey is here. He is present. He is accounted for. Welcome and hello. Hello and welcome, guys. It's Un Poco Mas. Thank you for joining me. Of course, they call me Little Danny Cornbread DiCarlo. They call me Cornbread, of course, because I am moist, doughy, and I crumble under pressure. They call me the Little Tugboat because I am short in stature, pull more than my own weight, and I'm rarely far from my home port. They, of course, call me Stubby Cohiba anywhere in South Florida due to an unfortunate manscaping accident I had with a Vitamix blender in the late 1970s just outside of Coral Gables, Florida. I don't know. There's quite a few other nicknames. Stock Karen, Danny Shakes, many others. But anyway, we'll dispense with the pleasantries and just condense it down to just a brief welcome and hello and welcome and hello and welcome. Of course, welcome and hello, just for good measure. It's Un Poco Mas, guys. It's Un Poco Mas. There's nobody watching as per usual. Anyway, let's get down to whatever the hell was the point of this turd in the first place. We're talking a little Microsoft, a little MSFT. As you guys know, if you watch this channel a long time, Microsoft was the first stock that I ever bought in 1996 when I was in college. And the reason I bought it was because I was working in the bookstore at the time and I was the delivery driver. And back in the day, I was a big, strong guy. So they had me lugging all these servers and Sun Microsystems and HP and all kinds of other stuff. But what I kept noticing is I kept delivering these boxes. They were just empty boxes of software. They didn't even have any disks in them. All they had was like a key, inside that you bought the licenses, and they would buy, all across the university, and they were buying at an academic rate, which was like a fifth or a sixth of the price that, retail companies were paying. But for like 5 users, for like the Microsoft Office suite or the database, they were paying thousands of dollars. I was like, my simpleton caveman investor mind just said they are paying thousands of dollars for a series of numbers and letters that allow them to unlock this software that's already been written. And this is happening at every university and every business across, the entire United States. And, in my mind, could have been across the entire world. Now, I don't know how true that was because this was really, I didn't have the ability to like research things online very much. I was just either going to school or working multiple jobs. But, we had these little tiny retirement accounts and they said, what do you want to do? I said, just put all mine into Microsoft. So it's very, very little money. Even to this day, it's not a fortune. It's not like anything. But if you look at it, I was looking back, the price I was buying the stock at was like $6, $7. So, gotten almost 100x out of it in the last 30 years. So you can't really complain about that. And of course, Bill Gates had a lot to do with it. They still own, he and the Melinda Gates Foundation still own a good number of shares. Not as much as they used to because they turned a lot of it over to Warren Buffett and his deal with the giving pledge and all that stuff. But anyway, let me turn off my smell phone here. This thing doesn't keep dancing on me. Let's see. So anyway, that's the backstory. And when I said I've just bought the stock all, I've very rarely sold any of it. On a couple of peaks I have here and there, just when I needed money or when I needed money to invest in something else, such as like Sofi at 5. I might have sold some along the way, or when I needed to purchase like Tesla and I started buying Tesla in 2016. Those are probably the 2 stocks that I got the most lucky on. Microsoft, I just fell into it. I was like, oh, wow. Everybody's buying these boxes. I should buy some of this stocks. I didn't know what the hell else to do. I didn't know anything about stocks or what to invest in. They're like, well, you should invest in, like a mutual fund or something. I'm like, well, there's a bunch of fees. Like, just give me this. Like, everybody's buying these. Just give me this. Like, they're selling these things like, like potato chips. So anyway, that's that. Why did I buy the stock again today? I bought at 495, and then I bought again at 493. I had a little bit of money, sitting on the sideline, looking for an opportunity. IOVA had a huge pop today, 13% back to $2.50, which has been an area it's been hanging around. If you look at Microsoft, they have such an economic and structural moat across their business. There'd be such a cost to trying to divest your business from Microsoft. They're everywhere. They're in everything. It's security, it's cloud, it's storage, it's AI, it's, B2B. They have a massive sales force everywhere. They're always expanding. And when you look at this business, not only are they growing the top line, but the margins are expanding faster than the revenues. So it's a sign their business is getting more efficient, more productive over time, and that's a sign of extremely, extremely good management when you're at this scale. So let's talk about this huge dip today. The stock was coming in at like 510. If you remember, after the ER, like the stock was trading right around the same level, not around the same level, but the stock was trading kind of up to the 515 level. And then the day after earnings, it spiked all the way to, 555. And then it ended up closing back at 533, flirted with trying to go back up, drag back down. You see these kind of key levels, quote unquote, here. I don't think there's going to be much resistance at 515 or, 520. I think the real resistance will come in here at 533, but I think they're going to break that down. I honestly thought this was going to go to 600 after the ER. I mean, if you look at the economics of this company and you look at a safe harbor, you look at, there's a lot of market uncertainty. There's, threat of inflation. You got the weak jaw. It's kind of weird because, inflation's not really going down like it should. Plus you have the weak job numbers. This is a lot of red flags. And then are they going to be able to sell this debt to, worldwide schmucks anymore who think, we're good and we're going to be good for it in 20, 30 years? I don't know. I think, we got to get serious about that. But anyways, I don't want to get into some political nonsense. But if you look at Microsoft, the revenue growth over the last, 3 years, 2023, they sold 212 billion, 2024, 245, 2025, 281. And then this year they're estimating, 322. And then, so they're growing, the top line at 20 plus billion, year on year, and that's accelerating. And then the gross profit is also accelerating. If you look at these margins are actually accelerating faster than the revenue. They have around $100 billion in cash. Their debt load is extremely manageable. They pay a pretty small but always expanding dividend. Their Azure business is growing 30% year on year. Their operating profits are expanding across the entire business. Their cash flow, look at the cash flow from operations. Cash flow from operations over the last years since 2023, it was 87 billion. And then the very next year, it jumped to 118 billion. I mean, these increases, it outpaces the growth, which is extraordinary at this scale. The other big tech companies are not, experiencing the same thing. Most of them are actually getting less efficient. And why do I feel I was a strong advocate? I mentioned it a number of times, and I didn't want to make videos about big tech because there's too many people that know too much talking about it. Like, who doesn't know about Microsoft and Google? But like I said, it doesn't matter what you buy. It doesn't matter what you buy. You could buy, pork belly futures, or you could buy Nvidia. It just matters when you buy and when you sell. If you buy low and sell high, it's caveman logic. But this stock I see is just an easy, like 6-7% head start up to 530. You're gonna get that gimme, you're gonna get that layup just as easily, because this shouldn't be trading down from where it was coming into I could see it not spiking to 560. Just look at the numbers on Microsoft for yourself. You'll see it's an absolute juggernaut. It's an absolute monster, and they just get better and better over time. I mean, that's why it's my largest holding. That's why, hey, I think it will always be my largest holding for the foreseeable future, because I only sell this stock, honestly, when I have to. If you look at, analyst ratings, say take most analyst ratings with a grain of salt, but I think on Microsoft, it tends to be a lot more straightforward than a lot of other companies, because you're just not going to manipulate a company, with a $4 trillion market cap and, 85% institutional ownership and 6% insider ownership. There's only, 8% or whatever of retail retarders like ourselves in the stock. So there's just not that many of us to manipulate. What are you going to do? Make us, shit our pants and go home or something? Get a new pair of chonies, some new tidy whities. Hey, you better go home and take care of that, son. I'm going to be buying Microsoft. Get yourself together. Too many chili dogs. Yes, sir. Shouldn't have had that 5th chili dog. Really got me. Extra onion, eh? I smell it. No. You guys ever poop your pants at a fair? I have. Top tip, hot shot. What's going on, guys? You getting into some type of confrontation between Chris and Clem, my dog over here? You guys getting testy? I can understand that. If you had, like me, and you have one testicle larger than the other, it throws things off balance. Kind of throws you off kilter. You ain't put on straight. You ain't right in the head. Elevator don't go to the bottom floor, if you know what I mean. So anyway, this Ramo, Lencho, Barclays, it's just the same story, guys. Everybody reiterates the buy. Truist goes to 675. Even the great Paul Chu at Phillips Securities, he's like, chew on this. He raised from 480 to 550. He's, I think one of the more bearish analysts, but everyone else was either raising or reiterating 650, 640, 630, 625. I mean, the number, they do this so consistently. It's like SoFi. They kind of lull you into thinking this is normal, but then you look at other companies and it's not normal. I mean, and why would I buy, Microsoft, and why was I advocating buying Google at 150? And I've also just bought some Amazon on the dip after earnings, which I didn't think was warranted. But this huge dip today, I mean, it dropped like $20 or whatever at the, sort of the tail end to the top, whatever you want to call it, not the day range, but sort of the pre-market range to the extremes. This was based on a $75 million sale by the CEO that was a part of his pre-planned trading plan. They were going to sell these shares regardless of the level. This was not, oh, I'm trying to get out because the stock is about to crash. The guy has about a $1 billion net worth, and almost 500 million of that was in Microsoft stock. So even if you work there, even if you love the company, even if you're extremely confident in the future, anybody with half a brain who wants to protect their future and their assets and their family is not going to have that much risk concentrated in one asset, much less one stock. It's not okay if you had it across like some type of an insured real estate investment, something like that, maybe. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that, guys. It's your favorite crazy old lady, Stock Karen, back with you. I got these glasses and I like them, but I think they make me look even more like a crazy old lady, like Annie, Little Lord Fauntleroy, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Those weird movies. You guys watch a lot of like PBS. I don't think when I was a little kid we didn't have cable or anything, like watching a lot of weird stuff on like PBS, public television. Like, what is this stuff? Oh, it's a public, television thing from France. I'm like, this is weird. I don't know what this is. Why is the kid talking to the lion? Who's this girl? Why does everybody have these weird perms? Looks like people are in powdered wigs, but they're not. I don't know. What's going on, Carl C. Mark? Of course, clap my dog. Yeah, SoFi is not a bad place to concentrate because if you look at the performance, it is like Microsoft, incredibly consistent. They do well in up or down markets. They do well with high or low rates. Anthony Noto hedges with so much precision and so much acumen. He's such a handsome guy, my dad, my papa, my biological father, Anthony Noto, still hasn't acknowledged me. Say, how is it possible he has a fat son who's his same age or just a little bit older? And I say to you, willing suspension of disbelief, you crush my dreams, you bastard. I want SoFi preferred shares. I want to be brought into the PR department. I still have the SoFi Rock Opera on the back burner, but it's horrible. It's horrible. Oh my God, it's bad. Anyway, it's been I was looking for a certain beat, a certain ER beat to do it, and they never beat it. Like I was looking for like a 3-cent beat. They beat by 2 cents. They're always just teasing me, just tickling the bulls. Don't forget the bulls. Okay. All right. This was a family place. Enphase will pay for the grid. USA investors. I bought some Microsoft. Good call, Forever Forgiven. I did as well. What's up, two brothers? You're both here. What's going on? You guys conjoined? How you doing? Yeah, that's okay. Forever Forgiven. It's not a spelling bee. Don't worry about it. I'm Dick's. No, this is the old joke. Dick's lexic or something bad. Let's see. I was watching Babe Station. I guess Low Country's flying out to the Denver Julesburg Basin. Going to get prop in order. Hope somebody needs to. Yeah, you guys don't worry. Like, okay. IOVA went up 13% today. Prop went down 5%. Does that mean IOVA is a great stock and prop is a terrible stock? No. This is a company prop that is going to get cash flow positive sooner than later, but it's not there yet. They're not paying out any cash. So it's easy to just crush the stock. The insiders own like 50% of the company. But like, why aren't they buying? They've got a lot of skin in the game. These are not billionaires. And people made the point, some of their companies have failed in the past. Well, if you're not the new guy, the new CEO is a Wall Street guy. He's not an oil guy, which is good because he's putting all these hedges in. Because what kills you is in drilling is you make these huge capital investments and then the price of the underlying asset that you're trying to pull out of the ground crashes. You're completely screwed if you're not properly hedged. And that sounds like that may have happened to these guys in the past. The older dude, the silver fox. The old slimy armadillo. I know you guys have been there. Cheap motel or two. Seen one or two in your day. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? You guys know what I mean? Someone in the comments, like last video, is like, why is there a bunch of nonsense at the beginning of this? I'm like, what do you mean at the beginning? Like the whole thing is nonsense. Like if you're trying to like find deeper meaning in un poco mas, you better bring a shovel, sir. You better bring a shovel and you're going to dig through layers and layers and layers of bullshit. Realize there's just nothing down there. Hey, I'm all the way to China. There's no substance. What gives? Oh, you must be a detective. Oh, I hate you guys. Even on a Friday. Even with the glorious weekend ahead of me. My hatred burns hot. No. Anyway, so listen to analysts, listen to me, listen to you, listen to your drunk uncle. Listen to whoever you want, but just look at the numbers. I know the EPS, the multiples might look a little bit high. I forget what it's showing last year. Like the PE ratio is showing 36, but look at how fast they're growing the profits. I mean, I think the valuation here is low. And the reason, like I said, Netflix, okay, the great company, it's had an incredible run, but to me, there's a lot of risk there with the content side, the content delivery. It just seems like there's not enough institutional gravitas and not staying power to say that business will still be strong and expanding and growing and thriving and innovating in 10 years. Now, they may very well be. I have nothing against it. It's just not a stock I'm buying at these levels. Like Facebook, they have sort of a similar thing with Google in that they have a ton of exposure to advertising, and that's a rapidly changing landscape. A lot of people are worried about AI cannibalizing search profits, advertising profits in that respect. But, AI is going to cannibalize everything to one degree or another. And I think it's impossible for anyone to predict how much it's going to cannibalize and how much market share AI is going to take and how much of a paradigm shift AI is actually going to be in day-to-day life, in business, in B2B. It's obviously going to take hold more some places than others. And that's fine. But I just feel like Microsoft has less like dead man risk than these other companies that are heavily reliant on ad revenues. Now, having said that, I was a strong advocate for buying Google at 150, mentioned a number of times. And if you bought there with me, you would have done very, very well by now. Now, Amazon, the reason I like Amazon after earnings, the dip, I think it was down to like 210 or something, is just because their businesses are growing. Not just e-commerce, continues to grow and be very, very profitable, but their cloud business is growing. Basically, they're growing segments. They make a ton of money. Google makes a ton of money. Microsoft makes even more money. So I've never been an advocate for just mindlessly pushing money into the Magnificent Seven. You notice NVIDIA got hit a bit today. I don't know how much it ended up going down. NEO, I think, was just a lot of option stuff. It was just senseless. SMCI, again, they shoot themselves in the foot. They shoot themselves in the wiener. They turn the gun around somehow and shoot themselves right in the ass. Fire the Wigger already. Get the Wigger out the door. CRISPR looking very, very strong right at the end today when everything was kind of moving back up. Again, IOVA up 13%, prop down 5%. Don't read too much into it. It's price action. There are mechanics controlling these stocks day to day. I mean, if you look at prop, it fell off and then just traded sideways. And I would guess they were buying the stock more often than not. But if you look at some numbers on Microsoft, you can just look at what's going on with their revenue. Their revenue 4 years ago, versus their revenue today. It's just the increases. Now, this is operating income and net income, which just continue to climb, quarter after quarter, year after year. You can see the consistency, the reliability, increasing the top and the bottom line, increasing dividends, increasing margins. It's just you can't find a business that has been better run than this over the long term and is more well set up, well diversified, totally ingrained, totally established to the point they're just not only too big to fail, but they're just completely indispensable to the entire system, to the entire backbone, to the entire economy. They're that important. And I think Netflix could go away. I think, Facebook or Meta could go away. I don't think they're going to or anything, but I just think Microsoft has a staying power, has a gravitas that really no other company, in my opinion, has. I think Amazon, Google, they're trying to get there, but they're just younger. Those are much newer buys for me. I've been in Amazon actually for quite a while, just a much smaller position. I kind of got into it the same way as Microsoft. It was just like, this is crazy. All of a sudden, like 1 year, there was like one Amazon van in my neighborhood, one package being dropped off once in a while. Then it felt like the next year it like went up 10 times. And then the next year it had gone up like 100 times. And the stock was still really cheap. It's like, I don't know what they're delivering. I don't know if they're delivering crystal methamphetamine. Why do all these drivers look so much like Jesse Pinkman? But after it just kept kicking me. Something kicks me in the head enough times. Eventually I ask it why it's kicking me. Why are you kicking me? I don't know. You're fat. You're an easy target. Once you're down, you can't get back up. You can't get into a push-up position. All right. That's rational. It's like in South Park. And I was like, What's positive about killing babies? He's like, tweak. He's like, it's easy. It is easy, isn't it, tweak? But no, here at Unpoco Moss, we're definitely against all forms of murder, violence. We are in favor of bad comedy, bunch of bad bits, bad beats, bad picks, bad life choices, bad dietary choices. I got to weigh in again. I'm going to do another weight check when I wake up Monday morning. Pop quiz, hot shot. You're a big fat fuck. Was that a question? Not really. Well, then it's not technically a quiz. It's more of a declarative statement. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Things annoy me, or I'm like, just don't know what the hell to do. I do get like a slight New England accent, and I just say, excellent. Very good. Very good. Poughkeepsie. Excellent. Good school system up there. Excellent parks. Anyway, I don't know what the hell the point of this video was, other than, look, everything is just a big bowl of uncertainty. I know the markets are going up. It looks strong. And a lot of people, they want to go, oh, fire the Fed people and just lower interest rates. That'll be great. My stocks will go up. And probably over the short term, maybe they will. I mean, lower interest rates would be good for Microsoft. They'd be great for Sofi. They wouldn't really do anything for Neo, but it'd be very good for everybody's. Like, the bears here are like, okay, insiders say that's nothing. There is no margin pressure. Their margins are expanding. Tariff concerns, I don't think they have any tariff concerns. They're going to do as good as anybody. Microsoft does well all the time. Like Kramer said, here's to feeling good all the time. So if you want somewhere just to park your money and feel pretty damn safe about it, that you get growth, you get a dividend, you get revenue growth, you get profit growth, you get innovation, you get expansion into AI, you get expansion into cloud, you get expansion into all the hot areas. I mean, people are like, okay, yeah, you should have been in Broadcom. Well, that's easy to say today, and it's easy to say after earnings, maybe you got in and maybe you're down because the stock, was hovering at like 330 or 530 and then spiked to 560 or whatever it was, and then it's back down here below 500. But to me, this just looks like a really good buying opportunity because, they were making a market here. They basically ran a big, pump and dump on the stock over time. And it looks to me like they're back to accumulating at these levels. Now, today, they absolutely, stuffed it with a, deep anal hammer fist. You guys ever hear Doug Stanhope's comedy? That good bit about trying to purchase a rubber fist for the holidays. Put that right on my American Express card. Wrap that up. He's like, you're like, what scenario could you possibly be entertaining sexually where your two fists are inadequate? Not understanding like what you might do with it. But no, if you live like that, he did a special. It was just some of the filthiest stand-up comedy I've ever heard in my life. But man, funny guy, and he lived it. I mean, I assume Doug Stanhope is still alive. I hope so. Very funny man. But they have a lot of demons, a lot of hard living, a lot of miles on the odometer. Doug, you're always welcome on Unpoco Moss. You may remember me. I dragged you out of a dumpster. It's on Hollywood Boulevard. Not really. Know what I mean? Maybe. Anyway, guys, let me see if anybody's talking to me, because let's see what's going on here. Baba Baba Booey. Excellent. Very good. Excellent. Okay, guys, sorry, got a bunch of stuff going on here on a Friday. People want to get paid. People are working hard all week and they want to go out and, have a few drinks, maybe go to the casino, lose their money, maybe invest in some penny stocks, lose their money, take their significant other out for a nice meal, lose their money, buy some pills, lose their money, buy some, some of those Tiger Balm penis pills down at the convenience store, lose your money, end up getting an erection that lasts longer than 12 hours, have to go directly to the emergency room. We've all been there. Average Friday night for most of us. This video is gone completely down the toilet, but I think the stock's going to get back up into this range from 520 to 530, and I think eventually it's going to go back up here. I don't think it's necessarily going to go back up to 550 right away, but I think it will come back up here and challenge this 533 level. So I think you're getting quite a bargain on this after this ER right here, after this pop. To have this thing stuffed like this for, a pre-planned insider sale is just totally stupid and irrational. And to me, it provides a pretty good entry point on a blue chip stock it's going to be as good a place to park your money as anywhere in down markets. Now, of course, it's susceptible like any tech stock, like anything, but I say it's well diversified. Its revenue streams are not as susceptible to somebody who's 80% ads or 60% ad. They have a good mix. They have a good product mix. They have incredible management. Like I said, the business, they don't get fat. They get leaner. They get more efficient. They get smarter, and they get more focused. And what's not working, they cut jobs. They cut expenses. It's for a company that's this big, they're very agile. They're very adept at reacting to market and economic conditions to maximize, their cash flows for their investors. And as an investor, that's exactly what you want to see. So, I'll keep investing. So that's the end of my spiel, but I'll see what some of you turds have to say. Guys talking about prop, Ukraine bombing Russia oil refineries. They've tried to do that a few times. Yeah, they're not really, the thing with prop is they're not that susceptible to the price of oil. They are to a degree, but I guess 80% of their sales over the next year or so are going to be hedged at a fixed cost. So there is a certain amount of exposure, but not nearly as much as it would have been, had they not hedged. And they talked a lot about this in the earnings report and why they did it. Of course, like the CEO is a Wall Street guy, likes predictability more than like a gambler, like an oil type guy who, again, Cosmo Kramer was gambling with on arrivals and departures. And then he had to, he had Ted Kaczynski's, not Ted Kaczynski, he was at the guy who talked to dogs. He had his mail back. So stupid, but it was funny. It's like, I like you, Kramer, trying to double cross me. But anyway, or like Charlie Kelly, man. That bit where they try to buy a bunch of gasoline. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Anyway, it's really all I've got. Some extra land. Yeah, they keep acquiring assets at really good guys. Here's the thing. If you're in these penny stocks, they just made a huge acquisition. They just expanded the scope of the business like fivefold. There are some growing pains. They're going to start pumping. They're bringing wells online. Over time, the well costs X to drill, and you're going to pull this much out of it. And it's a very, very profitable enterprise. You just have to give it a little bit of time. If you look back, insiders, when they were actually buying a good amount of shares, it was like $4, $5, $6. Institutions big institutions, Vanguard, all these guys, BlackRock, their average costs like, some $8, $9, $10, $12. And they're not selling out of their shares. They're increasing their shares, if anything. Last time I saw, I have to look back at the filings to make sure I'm not giving you bad info. But this candle here, from, it was stepping up nicely. It was coming off of a nice little base here, forming at 500. I dipped down a few times. But then, coming up nicely, I think it was going to definitely go back through 510 here and keep going up. And then pre-planned insider sale, and the stock drops from 510 down to 495. Is it an opportunity? I don't know. Yeah, the only thing that concerns everyone about prop is dilution, because they're going to pull the oil and gas out of the ground and they're going to turn it into cash. they don't need to raise. They have a credit facility with a bunch of big banks they can draw on. Yeah, I hope we don't get diluted until the dilution is going to come. It's just, is the cash flow going to stay ahead of the dilution? Is the drilling going to stay ahead of the dilution? That's yet to be determined. But I just think it's a very attractive. When I look at who got in where were insiders buying, where were institutions buying, and looking at the deals that they're making, even though they are, a little bit of growing pains, they're trying to learn as they go. And it looks a little bit disorganized, and it looks like they're not hitting targets, and it looks like they're not hitting production. It looks like they're not hitting revenues, but the oil and gas under there's not, if they have to extract it one extra quarter, they're still going to be making money. There's not going to be that much cost going into that well and maintaining that well while they pull out the oil. All the capital expenditure is in the beginning. That's what this whole thing is. And they're acquiring good producing assets at favorable prices, because there's a lot of consolidation in that, Denver, Julesburg basin. And they're one of the companies doing it. And from my understanding, they're doing it more efficiently, more intelligently than others. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know this business that well. But like I told you yesterday, I'm a buyer of this stock down here near 2. Is it risky? I don't see it as that risky. I think they're going to extract those resources from the ground and sell them at the hedged price, period. And, they fell a little bit behind schedule, but I think they're going to get back on track. I think the business update was generally positive. The number 525 barrels a day was not, home run, but it wasn't bad. People are like, oh, that's doom and gloom. I don't think so. The diet is not going that great. Clap my dog. Like I said, Chef David, he got me. He got me with that 22-ounce ribeye. Got me here. Got me right here. Stuck here. Having twins soon. Pepe and Pedro. They're kicking a lot. They love burritos. They love carnitas. I have a passion for carnitas. The grease. Oh, I love the grease. I eat way too much carnitas. I wish they could invent a world where carnitas was healthy. If you want something really healthy, you can have this kale salad or a huge carnitas burrito. Those are both healthy choices. I like this world. I'll take the carnitas burrito, please. Make it dos. Dos carnitas burritos. 0 salads. 0. I don't know, guys. Long story short, I'm a big fat jerk, and I like carnitas. Yeah, these guys, the insiders own half the company. Of course, they're going to minimize dilution. They could just gift themselves free shares. That's the only way they want to dilute, is to themselves. They don't want these creditors taking anything. They don't want them exercising anything. They're going to take those preferred shares and they're going to light them on fire. That's what I think he's saying. I just want to play one. Well, there you go. Put your money in the jukebox and dance, buddy. Dance. They call me Danny Shakes. And if you have to ask why, you deserve a refund. Hey now. Danny Shakes is like my dumbest nickname. What about DJ Patchy Drizzle? If you want to hire DJ Patchy Drizzle, please send me a letter. Don't reach out to me on social media because I don't have it. I only do octogenarian and above birthday parties or very austere office parties. I'll also spin at funerals, wakes. All my events are over at 7 p.m. Everybody gets home safe. There's no alcohol. There's no drugs. There's no smoking. There's no laughing. There's no holding hands. There's no slow dancing. There's no fast dancing. There's no moshing. There's no longing glances. So if you need DJ Patchy Drizzle to come on, throw a big wet blanket on your party, get your guests out of there, get your unwanted house guests, go on home. Give me in. Can't promise you a good time, but I can promise you everybody goes home safe and just a little bit angry. Was that a party? Who was that fat guy? Was that the DJ? I think so, but all he did was eat the snacks. There was no music. Well, you guys shouldn't have put out so many snacks. Well, DJ Patchy Drizzle's got a bit of a sweet tooth, like Crisco. Why you call you Crisco? Because I'm fat in a can. You know. You guys want the Sofi Rock Opera? Is anybody interested? I'll do it. I'll write it and I'll do it live. Fuck it, I'll do it live. My godfather, Bill O'Reilly. He might participate. Yeah, no, I got a bunch of stuff. I think it starts off with My Chemical Romance. I go into some Billy Joel. I finish it up with some Garth Brooks, the Thunder Rolls parody. I mean, this stuff's all from music like that I knew when I was like in the 90s, or I don't know any current music. I don't know you kids with your fancy shoes and your short pants, high stepping, making your posts and your stories. When I was a kid, stories was something my grandma used to watch on the couch. Grandma's watching her stories. Don't you disturb her, or she's gonna hit you with her wooden spoon. Gonna smack you right upside your fat head. But I was just trying to get a snack. Like, you're always trying to get a snack, Danny. Get outside the house now. Run along. Okay, Pappy. Guys, I never even understand what I'm talking about. For people who are going to be like, this show was terrible, didn't make any sense, it wasn't funny. I know. I don't know why anyone would watch it. Total piece of garbage. Anyway, I don't know if anybody's still here. Okay, yeah, I'll do the Sofi Rock Opera, I guess. I'll do it this weekend. I'm going to try to do it in the middle of the night when nobody's watching, because it's going to be tremendously humiliating, because I'm not a good singer at all. But I used to sing. It's kind of funny. Two things people like watching a fat guy do: sing and fall down and hurt themselves. And quite frankly, these days when I hurt myself, I don't even have to fall down. I can just get up and twist strong. Oh, how'd you hurt yourself, sir? Being old and fat. Just general daily life. I tried to navigate these 3 steps. I got through 2 of them before I injured myself on the 3rd step. Yeah, my calf cramped and I twisted my knee and I fell and then I hit my hip. I broke my phone. Now I'm depressed. You're also fat still. Oh, thank you. Very kind of you. You're fat and you hurt yourself. People either like, it's one of 2 reactions. They just film it and laugh, or they feel really sorry for you. Oh, can you get up on your own? Yeah, I can get up on my own. Look like I'm in a kind of lark scooter. I can't stand up. Not that fat and old. Jesus. Sir, can we call someone for you? Like, no, I'm just sitting down. I'm going to stand up when I want to go somewhere, when I want to walk away. Do you need assistance? No. Well, I mean, I could use a snack. I'm a bit peckish. I am a bit peckish. Now that you mention it. You have anything? No, I don't carry around food. Your mistake. Hood finally got the S&P inclusion. No, Tanner was looking for that on the last rebalance. What is Hood doing? They're gonna make me look at Hood. Got depression with SMCI. What's Hood doing? Oh boy, popping. 7% pop, Big Poppy. A-Rod. I don't think A-Rod's Big Poppy. I can't remember. Some chunky guy. I always love when chunky guys do well in sports. Big man code. Got to support. Anyway, yeah, offensive line. They can do it with man boobs. Very few professional athletes at a very, very high level are going to be man boobing for fun and profit the way I am. But I've been man boobing at an elite level for many, many years, and I will continue. Guys, have a great weekend. I have no idea what the hell I was talking about this entire time. Would like to thank the great Not a Lurker, of course, the great Devin Ishida, In Phase, Ortex, Sea Holders, and Short Interest. Okay. Why not? ENPH, right? In Phase. So the short interest today, they were borrowing, but overall, let's see what we're dealing with here. Short interest is 24% of the free float. It's been climbing and stable. Shares on loan. So this is very interesting. The short interest is 30 million shares, and the shares on loan are only 13 million. But utilization is only 12%. Very weird. That's an odd short. Extremely low cost to borrow. I would guess there would have to be a lot of short long on that. Let's see what we're dealing with here. See what the institutions are doing. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, institutional ownership is over 100%. These are not accurate, but suffice it to say there's a tremendous amount of institutional ownership in this company, and it's increased recently. I don't know if they just did an offering or something because I don't know anything about this company, but I'm trying to look at the insider ownership. See, insider ownership is saying 20%. Institutional ownership is saying, 104%. So obviously that's not correct. But let's take a look at who owns most of this turd. Let's see. So Susquehanna, they're of course short long as they always are. Vanguard would be the next largest shareholder. They maintain stable. Renaissance, they just increased their share count by 500%. So that's a really good sign. Again, 2 sigmas is usually short long. I'm not sure. Goldman Sachs just increased their shares by 56%. Their most recent filing on 8/14. That's a really, really good sign. Goldman generally makes a lot of money in their trades. There's another big, they have a put, they have a short long position. Goldman almost always has a short long position. Jane Street, again, almost always has a short long position. They might be pure short here. Not really sure, but yeah, it looks pretty good. Very high institutional ownership is going up. It just, extreme amount of puts on the stock. Calls went up too, but the put call ratio not quite as favorable. But again, these companies, Susquehanna, 2 Sigmas, Jane Street, Citadel, they're all short long. You have Vanguard and BlackRock. BlackRock just sold. That's a filing from April. So I don't know if we could get a more recent number on BlackRock. I'd be curious to see it. There's Jane's call position, much, much less. So they're more short, more bearish on the stock. Of course, the Bank of Nova Scotia, they make a beautiful smoked salmon, also good investors. JP Morgan cutting their position by 64%. Not a great sign, but Legal and General Group PLC. It's hard to know what to make of all these. People rebalance things for all kinds of reasons. So you have to look at the general trend with institutions. The only people I sort of follow religiously are more BlackRock, Vanguard, a few of the other State Streets. Because I kind of watch, they lead the herd, of smart money. When they turn, make a broad turn in direction, I've seen that others tend to follow, and that the price action tends to follow that. So anyway, of course, the great Princess J. Great Princess J. Thank God for her. I don't think I'd go on without Princess J. There's really no reason to live in my world. What am I gonna stick around for shitty penny stocks? Just shine Nautilurker's head with one of those bowling ball return machines. That would be fun. What's up, Quasi BE? Not saying. Quasi BE, not saying. So anyway, David, I helped you get a ton of Sofi. Oh, that's great, man. Thanks. I really appreciate those. Those are kind words. I'm glad you got in. Sofi was what was it, $8 in April? It's 3x in like 5 months. I mean, it doesn't. I know, like, okay, Palantir went nuts and Hood went nuts, but honestly, the stock 3xing for you in 5 months, and then building a shelf and making a market at that upper level and stabilizing, and all the ratings following, and I think the stock's going to move up to $30 personally, especially if we see rate cuts or even indications of rate cuts. I think it's going to be extremely good for their business, but I think they're going to do fine either way. I just think they announced on SoFi Plus, like, the savings rate went up way above anything anybody else was doing. So SoFi is in incredibly good shape. Much like Microsoft, I would have absolutely no problem, parking money there and just not worrying about dips, not worrying about fluctuations, and just holding that stock for the next 10 plus years. I would feel excellent about it. Excellent. Very good. Very good. Excellent. I would feel great about that. Just with the management, with the business model, constantly expanding their offerings. I don't even think people know what SoFi is yet. I still don't think they get it. SoFi is a tech platform with ultra qualified, customer base, member base that they can sell anything to, that anyone else can sell anything to. They're the cream of the crop. They're the best of the best. That's why their defaults are so incredibly low, below their even, rosiest projections. AMD looks intriguing. It's very hard to say, because here's the thing with, like, the government taking a position in Intel. First off, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. I like free markets. I don't like the government coming in and saying, you got to fire your CEO. I don't like the government coming in and saying, we're going to take 10% of the company. I don't like the government coming in and saying, we're going to take 15% of the revenues you sell into China. None of that is free market. None of that makes any sense. Centrally controlled economies, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work, particularly with this brain trust. I mean, come on. Yeah, well, let's put Peter Navarro in charge. He's very knowledgeable. Jesus. Yeah, Robert Kennedy hearing was terrifying for me. I mean, of course, he's not a scientist, but I'm glad the top 5 doctors at CDC all quit in one day. Bad. It's bad. It's really bad. And I think they're going to announce, very, very soon, they're going to announce that, whatchamacallit causes autism. They said they found they said that they're basically, I think, going to announce a link between vaccines and autism, which doesn't, exist according to science. Everybody wants an answer for why autism has gone up so much. They're like, is it the diet? Is it this? Is it that? Hey guys, I got to run. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Peace.